Hello, this is the April edition of the JFD video messaging to disseminate information. Hope you guys get something out of this in the way of some needed information. I wanted to start by talking about some training issues and then some contract issues. I'll plan on meeting with the union mid-May to talk about some issues that involve the fire marshals and some comp time training and some of the things that we want to do. So looking forward to that to get everybody on the same sheet of music. Um, we have been over budget in our training, overtime, and overtime in general. So we're going to have to scrutinize any training that requires backfill or overtime after a discussion with the finance committee of the council. So we're going to be looking at that and scrutinizing any sort of training that requires. I can revisit that maybe 1st of September and see where we're at, and we can get back into doing some training that may involve some folks being out of town and some backfill. One thing I want to talk about in the contract is the opportunity for comp time. There is a clause in the contract that will allow each member to accumulate up to 48 hours of comp time to be paid in the next year, the first check in January of the following year. I think this is a good option for us, especially in the way of training, as we have backfill that's needed for training. And in particular, to this next topic that I'm going to talk about, is Deputy Chief Stingle wants to develop some specialty teams in the department, utilizing some of the skills that we had got last year with our tech rescue grant. And that's a confined space, hazmat, and a water rescue team. So if you're interested in any of those, certainly let your battalion chief know. They can pass your name on to Deputy Chief Stingle, and we can start assembling those teams. We do plan on those teams doing some quarterly training to become familiar with each other, working together, their equipment, and keeping their skills sharp. So that might be a good example of using that comp time for training. While we're on training, I want to talk about the Blue Card. I wanted to get 10 more people enrolled in Blue Card. I think Blue Card is a great training program, and I think it's a good example of how we can do some in-house training without utilizing any of our overtime. So while we're on that, I wanted to talk about put some emphasis on a couple of things fireground wise that I want to see us to continue improving on. And the first is when we get to a fire scene, the first arriving officer of the first arriving engine company or truck company needs to go ahead and assume command. And then they can transfer the command to Battalion 4 when they arrive, or if it's not needed, they may just hold command for the entire time. And then on the fire scene, a couple things I wanted to make sure that we keep getting better at is doing our first report of what we see, an incident action plan that involves making some assignments, the announcement of our strategy, offensive or defensive, assume command and name command, just declaring yourself that Engine 43 will assume command, Main Street Command, and then perform a 360. And of course, the main thing we're looking for on that 360 is to see if the structure has a basement or not. So just a couple things to keep in mind that we want to try to keep emphasizing and getting better on the fire ground. One change that I wanted to mention in the way of minimum training requirements for a captain is after talking with the administration here at the fire department, we have decided that a captain that has more than 8 years in rank as a captain no longer has the requirement of instructor 1 as a minimal educational requirement. So if you have any questions about the minimum education requirements or the requirements for rank, you can certainly find them in Target Solutions under the File Center on the left margin. So you can find any answers over there. Usually there's the merit rule guidelines also to keep yourself up to speed on those. Leadership conference is coming up May the 8th and 9th. We have some people registered for that. You probably know who you are. That is a good example of some training that's not mandatory, but we are going to pay for you to go to the class. But there will be no overtime or backfill for attending that class. So we hope you guys enjoy that. It should be some good training with Chief Brunacini. Wanted to mention merit promotion. testing that's coming up. The cutoff date for your packets is July the 3rd at noon, and you can turn those in to either Connie at HR or to Jeff Fry down at Office Supply. But the testing date is still estimated for mid-October. And again, if you had any questions, the Merit Commission meets the first Thursday of each month at 1800 hours at City Hall. I wanted to congratulate Marcus Wren and Brandon Boyer on their recent promotions. And also some notes here from Deputy Chief Diark. Grass cutting season is on us, and grass cutting will be done Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, depending on the weather. And when you begin doing your grass cutting, if you could do all of the required tasks in the same day as far as blowing off sidewalks, weed eating, and everything, and don't leave anything for the next crew on the next day. Just go ahead and complete everything in one day, please. Our medical physicals, we're in the process of putting together a document that each person can take to their own doctor and have the physicals done of what's required for a fit for duty physical. We should have those maybe in the next 2 weeks. And then everybody that wishes to go to their own doctor has between now and July 1st to go to their own doctor. If you haven't got a fit for duty physical by July 1st, then we'll get you scheduled out at OMP. The one bonus to having your own doctor do it is that you will receive $100 from the city if you have your own doctor complete that physical, which should be covered under our insurance, so it should be a good deal. As far as our job-related agility test, we won't be doing that until we get all of our physicals, so I suspect that'll probably be done late summer, early fall. So if you have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to give me a call. If you don't have my cell number, it's 502-376-2897. Certainly get with your battalion chiefs, and hope you have a good day. Thanks.